Well, it's May 14th. Tomorrow is our last frost day, and I went ahead and put the tomatoes in because I've checked the forecast for the next week and a half, and it's not going to get anywhere near cold enough to hurt any delicate plants. So I put in 6 Celebrity tomatoes, and it's a hybrid. It's very disease resistant, and it's the one that we had fairly good luck with last year when everything else sort of fizzled. And I don't think anybody in this area had a good tomato year last year. So I want to put up some sauce this year, so this is going to give me, I think, the best shot at getting them. So I put those in the ground yesterday and watered them in, and then along the right hand side there I put about an 8-inch wide band of the black oil sunflowers. So they're going to come up and give us a treat, and the birds a treat as well, because they really like them. And everything else is growing nicely. That little bare patch between the lettuce and that spinach is just a place where I failed to get seed in when I was seeding the row. So I took some parsley seed that I harvested from this plant. That parsley there is over a foot tall now and doing great, but I harvested some of the seeds from it and just planted them in there, tamped them down. Let's see what it does. And the other parsley that I got from the nursery, I planted it in like a little corner around there, and it's coming up nice and doing a real good job. So this parsley here will go to seed here just not too long, and it'll stop producing leaf so much, but by then this parsley will be up and on its own. Birds attack my basil, and you see them sad little stems right there. So I've got 6 more basil plants I'm going to stick in the ground to replace those, and they're pretty far along. Got those from the nursery the day I got my tomatoes. And the new onions are coming up pretty nice, and the last year's onion row, they're already starting to send up scapes and make some seed heads. They'll be flowering here soon. So we're just pulling those whole when we want onions for the kitchen, and that's more than enough. And then we're going to leave these alone and do the same with it next year. And this is the broccoli. It's been mulched up, and it's growing nicely. I haven't planted my grass yet, but I'm going to. And then working with these little cherry trees, and these are dwarf North Star variety, and they're known for a heavy yield, and these are no exception. You can see all the little cherries. They're starting to get a little reddish hue to them in some of them. So I just took some soft rubber-coated wire, and I just kind of unified all these branches. They were starting to droop, and this is going to help them this year, and hopefully by the time this year ends, these branches will be thick and stronger. And the asparagus is doing nicely. It's well above the fence now, and we can still get in there and root around and find enough small shoots coming up to make a good harvest if we wanted one. And Ken's been over there planting some flowers around that other cherry tree. And moved the garlic chives to its new home right there. It was getting choked out by that thyme right there. So it should be safe there, and it's starting to flower. But that's going to be its permanent home. And then she's planted a few flowers back over by that little building that I built. But she put some impatiens on either side and behind that. So they're going to grow up pretty nice. And then back here, I've got my beans planted next to that trellis. And what I did last year is I let a few pods just dry on the vines and then harvested those seeds. I put those in the back side of that trellis, and then I put some purple pod seeds that I got from a supplier on the front side. And I just want to see what those second generation seeds are going to do. We had a few volunteer beans come up last year, and they were just green. And the only beans we've ever planted were the purple pods. So I'm just curious as to whether a second generation crop from saved seeds is going to be purple or green. So this is going to let me know. Either way, we're going to have a lot of nice beans, because the green ones were still good beans, just a different color. And then the only thing I haven't done is put in the peppers. I tilled this yesterday and just got the soil ready, but the nights are still a little too cool. It wouldn't kill the peppers, but it sure stunts them and sets them back, and they just don't grow after they've been through a cold night like that. So I'm going to get pepper plants tomorrow, bring them home, but we're going to be taking them in at night and keeping them for at least 2 more weeks before I actually set them in the ground. And we're just going to do a few peppers. I have about a gallon of pickled jalapenos, but mostly we're going to be raising some sweet peppers for salads and things like that. Just sweet banana peppers, really. And then I'll put in maybe 2 jalapenos because I like them fresh with a sandwich or just whatever. And been working on the little garden shed. Got all the tools out of my shop as far as, you know, rakes and shovels and all that sort of thing. All the gardening tools are now in that little shed. And I'm getting ready to put some cedar trim on that thing and just trim it out. And then we're going to be painting that. And I'll give you guys a shot of that after we get it done. But it's a roomy little shed, and we have stuff hung all the way up into the rafters, which is why I made it that tall. And it got all that stuff out of my way in the shop. So that's about it for a garden update. I haven't staked the tomatoes yet, but I'm going to go ahead and probably drive them in and get them there. And I'll put them on this side of the plants. The wind comes out of the west, which is the way the camera's facing. And I want to put the stakes on this side so it blows them back against the stake and gives them a little more support. It's about time to mow the grass, but just wanted to show you the garden as it's growing now, and looks like it's going to be a nice weekend. So enjoy, guys, and we'll see you after a while. Thanks a lot.